Hey everyone, welcome back. We are here for the Astro Tarot forecast for the week of January 29th. Super exciting. I'm Emily Heather, the Voluptuous Witch, and I'm here with Tatiana Tarot.
Hello.
And the way that we do this is I'm going to do a really quick intro to the astrology, everything you need to know for the astrology for the week to be prepared. And then Tatiana is going to give us a really beautiful reading to kind of talk about how we can work with the energies and how we can best work with the astrology and all the energies that are happening. And we have a lot of energy happening this week because, as you probably already know, if you are watching this video and you're interested in astrology, we have an eclipse. We have a lunar eclipse this week. and, and we, as we were just talking about, maybe you have heard some kind of like stressful things about the eclipse, or I don't know. Has that been your impression, Tatiana, from like kind of the buzz or the vibe, or what have you been thinking about it?
Yeah, I mean, it's stressful in a very subtle way. So people have their own tongue-in-cheek version of it, but I feel like when I encounter something like the word eclipse in and of itself, and we were just saying how it's not that rare of an occasion, but people who are not that knowledgeable or just don't catch up with the consistencies of these things don't realize how common they are, that an eclipse sounds like it comes once every 8 years. But couple that with the full moon, and then that being the second full moon of the same month, like a lot of people have this sort of holy shit, what the hell is going to happen connotation, because the full moon in and of itself just gets us in our feelings, and it's very unruly and very unpredictable. And then bam, here comes this eclipse that's like rare, Yeah, I feel like people have been kind of stressed out, but also kind of clueless because there isn't that much information about it right now. It will be
Hmm.
now at this point moving forward, but people have been like, what's going to go on?
What, right, like what's going to happen? Well, I mean, I feel like, so to me the eclipse is definitely like, an eclipse is for sure like a portal, not to overuse that word, but it kind of is. I mean, it is a portal. If we think about the full moon, it's when the sun is opposite the moon, they're opposing. And so they're across, they're representing a whole axis. And so there is kind of this doorway, gateway type of energy happening, where we're making a transition. And eclipses do tend to trigger events, changes, shifts, especially if they interact with an important point in your chart. So this is at 11 degrees of Leo, this eclipse. So one thing you can do is you can look in your chart to see, well, what you have in Leo, what you have in Aquarius, but also what you have around 11 degrees. So like between like 10 and 12 degrees, in your chart, because then the eclipse is kind of playing off of that too, in a sense. And that includes things like the angles, like your rising, the midheaven, you know. So so that's kind of what impacts how much it will affect us personally to a degree. So not every eclipse is like so epic for every person, but this one is a little bigger because it's in the sign of Leo. We're having a Leo moon, and so like Leo moon kind of wants to do everything big, do it all really big. And my suggestion with this, because it's a full moon, like you were saying, people are extra emotional, everything is kind of heightened, and we do feel the energy all week. Like I would say that really is true. Like we're already feeling it. The whole week has that vibe. As far as the eclipse events, they unfold for like up to 6 months, so not everything's going to happen instantly. It's not like everything's gonna come, kind of, my dog. It's like
Oh, that's so. You know what? It's funny that you said that because I had read something and I think I completely misinterpret that now that I'm thinking about it. But you said it lasts up to 6 months. Oh my God, so cute.
Maple making an appearance. She's a Leo, so she wanted to get in on the
Totally feeling it, like
totally.
feeling the vibe. Look at me. I thought that the influence that you have with the eclipse on the first day is what lasts for the next 6 months. So kind of like the situations you get into that day is
Hmm.
kind of the theme. Totally not what's going on though, right?
Well, not necessarily. I mean, I would say, for example, like if you are doing some kind of magic, like if this is a really, like one good way to think of this moon is like, you kind of want to be leaving behind anything that's like keeps you out of your light, right? Like Leo's ruled by the sun.
Anything that keeps you out of your light. So this is people, behaviors, habits.
People behavior, totally. Behaviors, habits, thoughts. And the reason I say that is because, Leo really is about like the self and our expression and, what we're here to share, being seen. And it's like magnanimous and regal. And so the kind of smaller stuff that pulls us down, we kind of want to let that go. But also part of the reason I say that is because the next new moon is a solar eclipse, in Aquarius.
Jesus
So
Christ, new moon. Okay.
yeah, and that's in 2 weeks. So it's like, I think of it as, and that new moon also happens to be the beginning of Lunar New Year for a number of calendars, including, Chinese New Year. So for, a lot of people in the world, their New Year will be celebrating with that new moon. We'll be celebrating the new moon and the eclipse, if that's like part of our ritual. So that's a big beginning energy. And so this can be a beginning energy too, but I would also think of it as like also what you want to leave behind, kind of, if you want to focus on that for your Leo moon ritual, but leave behind in the sense of like what will kind of help me be bigger and brighter, so kind of not getting bogged down in those things, but just like I want to step through the portal and I want to step in without a bunch of stuff that is just kind of holding me back. So in that sense, I would say yes. Like that energy of that moment is potent and powerful, and you don't want to be like fucking around with anything really that you don't want to do, that you don't want around during the eclipse. So like, yeah, I guess
Oh, like no, yeah.
don't
No
start a
buddies and
fight.
juju and
Right. Like, no, yeah, like don't be like, no, and this is not to us or to anyone out there. I know none of you would do this, but like no sending out any like not good magic or, it's like, just we want to be, yes, so I would say that was a very long-winded way of saying, I think that's true. There is something to that energy having an impact, or if like you do see a major event happen kind of like right around in the window, it's not necessarily the day, but in the window of the eclipse, like this week, it can be a signal of kind of like, oh, this is happening, is what it's about. But I think the important thing with the eclipse is that if it's something challenging, to not have to feel like in the mindset of like, oh, so like the next 6 months are just going to be like bullshit thing after bullshit thing just because a challenging thing came up this week. But it will kind of show maybe an area of like, oh, this is what's coming up, or this is what needs to be worked on. But I always like to think of challenges that come up around the time of the eclipse as like, this is for our growth, not
opportunities for evolution.
totally. And like sometimes there are things we wouldn't do or we wouldn't work as hard at if we didn't have a challenge. And so sometimes, an eclipse can bring something like that, which isn't to just like wave it away or put a bow on it or anything like that. It just really can be like that sometimes, that without a certain challenging person or challenging situation or something we don't get, that we thought we really wanted, sometimes that can end up taking us down a better road or something that's more for us or that type of thing. So that's kind of the energy of it, I would say. So yeah, like use it wisely. My advice of what not to do is like a dramatic, Leo sometimes kind of wants to go for the dramatics. So I would say go for the dramatics in the sense of like, if you want to have a big, beautiful ritual, if you want to have big, amazing hair, if you want to get like amazing new lipstick, adornments.
Oh
yes.
my God. I totally splurged on Rihanna fucking makeup today, and I've just been buying hell of a lot of stuff to adorn myself with this whole week. It's because of this influence. I swear to God.
Absolutely. It absolutely is. I shopped. I bought a new dress that has gold on it. Definitely anything Leo's like gold, diamonds, eyeliner.
Real shit.
Yeah.
Flowers, good food, decadence.
If you want to buy an actual
Your new
crown,
deck came in.
my new deck
It's so
came.
fancy.
The Mystic Mondays deck is very fancy. It has hologram, everything. So, that's the vibe. I would say that's a good way to use Leo energy. The less good way is like ultimatums, a dramatic, like a stunt, like this will get attention or get my way, or I'm going to make a big, just because the ripple effect of what happens will be strong. And like, we don't control the ripple effect. Like when we do something, we don't control everything that, so.
That's good to point out. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Heavy energy on manifestation and ritual.
definitely. I would really recommend, a ritual for, I'll put it in the comments of this video. I actually meant to remember the exact time. On East Coast time, it's Wednesday morning, and I know it's like 8:39 EST or something around that. But
Early in the morning.
Yes. So I'll put the exact, well, totally exactly, because then on the West Coast, that's like in the fives, and so depending where you are. So I'll put put it in the comments and stuff to have the exact, but it's in that window and it's Wednesday morning. So, just to kind of be aware of your intention and your space and what you're doing at that time. If you want to set yourself up the night before, or, it's a fire element. So do something with like candles or fire energy, or burning things you want to let go of, or a lot of options. So right after the eclipse, the Mercury is going to move into Aquarius. So that's kind of another big event of the week. Mercury is changing signs. I think that's actually kind of good for us to have Mercury move into an air sign and get out of kind of a heavier Capricorn energy. And Mars just went into Sagittarius, which I think is also positive, because that kind of is, I think it's going to be spurring some of us into action. Mars and Scorpio also had a heaviness to it, a wateriness, an inward focus. And so Mars going into Sagittarius, I think it is going to kind of be spurring us into action with a lot of the things that we have been thinking about, and that's already begun. The time between now and the eclipse, so like Monday and Tuesday, the moon will be in Cancer.
I gotta write notes, girl.
It's good to write it down, because just to check back to remember, because the moon will be in Cancer. So we know the moon is extra powerful in Cancer, right? Because obviously the moon rules Cancer, and that's a highly emotional moon, right? And then eclipse week we know is extra heightened. So we're in, if it's an emotional couple days, that's why, in part. But also we have planets in Capricorn. Right now Mercury is still in Capricorn, Pluto and Saturn are both in Capricorn. So as the moon moves through Cancer, she'll be opposing those planets. And so it's just like she kind of, it essentially activates the energy where we're aware of it. So like right now the moon is opposing Saturn. And then, so it's like, there is an intensity energetically. There is an energetic intensity to that. And oppositions can kind of play out more interpersonally between people. So just kind of be aware of like, you have the power. Like you're watching this video, you're aware, that emotions are heightened, that, people might be seeking to kind of play out their internal like work or internal things that are arising.
Projecting bullshit.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. So you're like, you're aware of that. So it's not about like, oh, I know that, so I won't have feelings, or I know that, so it won't be emotional for me. But it's more like to kind of keep it in context and know that it's also sort of this too shall pass type of thing. And you really want to be kind of staying in the energy of like what you're moving toward, and how you want to utilize the eclipse energy. And Yeah, and then in a future video, when we come back, I'm going to talk more about the Aquarius new moon that's coming up, because I think that's also really powerful and exciting, very exciting for new beginnings, for giving all our projects and New Year's intentions like a really big boost, and really think that we've wanted to get moving and maybe haven't quite yet, that will be a really good time for that. And there's something to this Leo Aquarius axis where like it's getting highlighted a lot. We had the solar eclipse in Leo in August, and we're going to have another solar eclipse in Leo this August. And now we're having a full moon eclipse in Leo now. So the Leo part of our charts is like really getting activated to, so that's a good thing to look up and kind of know if you're able to, your chart, to kind of look and see where Leo is for you, like what area of life, what topics, what issues. That can also be clarifying.
Awesome. Awesome. And where do you suggest people go find this stuff out?
Oh, well, I would say just even like, I know a lot of people use Cafe Astrology to make their charts. I think you can use that. A lot of my clients will look at like astro.com, or have time passages, like the app. You can have a time passages app that will show you your chart and your transits. And so those are good. You can just look, you'll be looking at, you can look up the symbol for Leo, and where you see that symbol in your chart, that house, or depending on what you look at, it might like say it might say like second house, Leo, or sixth house Leo. So that's the house it rules. And then all you would have to do is just Google, like, what does that house mean? Like, oh, second house is self-esteem and finances, or seventh house is relationships, or, so.
And that's the area that's going to highlight during this particular time.
Yes.
You also mentioned like anything close to 11 degrees.
Yes.
And then you'll be doing the same, like referencing what is 11 degree first house, second house, whatever falls around that. If you have that.
That's true. That is actually, you can definitely glean some information that way, because for example, like let's say you have something at 11 degrees of Scorpio. If this is starting to sound confusing, we won't talk about this for too long. So don't, well, we're about to have an amazing reading. If it gets too confusing, then just like tune it out.
Listen to it again.
Yeah, watch it and listen to it again. But let's say you have something at 11 degrees of Scorpio or 12 degrees of Scorpio, something like that. That's square this Leo moon. So it's interacting with it. It's making an aspect, so then it is going to also impact that area of life where your Scorpio planet is, potentially. So that it is that same idea where then you would be like, okay, what is that house all about? What is that area of life about? And can just be clarifying, and it can help set potent intention too, because, it's usually
maybe your ritual will be more impactful if you focus it on that area in your chart that's going to be like boom.
Definitely. Like if it's the Leo area or the Aquarius area for this eclipse, right? Because it's like that we have moon in Leo, sun in Aquarius. That's going to be the power. That'll be like power spot. Totally. I know. It's true. Well, you have a prominent Leo in your chart, which is very like ritualistic.
Obnoxious how much Leo I have in my chart.
I love it. It's one of my favorite signs. It's also because I have Mars in Leo, so I'm always like Leos. I like that. I like that. I like it.
Totally. Oh man, that was so dope. Thank you for sharing that information and giving us the
of course.
To get it, because then we don't have to bother you or any other astrology friends that we have. Okay, so with that being said, let's look into the tarot. This will be really interesting. I thought maybe that we can focus on, under the context of this eclipse, what is it that we need to kind of be aware of that we are releasing during this time? And also, what should we embrace within ourselves and embellish? And I'll top it off with a little animal medicine card, which just gives us so much wisdom. Love these cards. Okay, so
I love them too.
With this out in love and light, spirit, I ask that you bring forth our higher selves, spirit guides, ancestors, the Orishas, the Loas, the archangels, ascended masters, and any light being entity that best can provide us with information, clarity, and guidance here today. Spirit, let's get information in regards to this lunar eclipse and tap into what Emily was sharing with us. Astrologically, what is it that we need to focus on releasing as a collective? Give us some wisdom that can best benefit us. And so what do we need to release that's prohibiting us from shining and from tapping into our greatness and really accessing our full potential here? What is it that needs to go down the fucking drain? Okay.
Like
Okay. Okay. All right. Bam. Let's just dive into it. We're getting the High Priestess. Funny enough, isn't that interesting? But the High Priestess is not coming out alone. It's coming out with the Hangman and the Page of Wands. So this is going to be very interesting because we are talking about that aspect of what's going to make us shine, what's going to make us feel regal and on top of our game. When we see the High Priestess appear, this is just validation that you don't need anyone else. You don't need to go to your tarot reader. I'm going to say it. You don't need to DM one of your go-to spiritual connoisseurs. Like you have everything that you need within you, all your juju, all your wisdom, all your insight, your psychic activity, your intuition. That's what the High Priestess is representing. So when I see her falling next to the Hangman represents a sense of apprehension, a sense of holding back on that universal wisdom. We're all innately tapped into the universal mind, the juju, but he is hanging himself upside down, almost as if he's like half trusting of it and half not. So this, in conjunction with the High Priestess, it may be telling us that we are getting some very, very deep, profound insight here that we're not going to just be able to brush off our shoulders and regard it or disregard it as something as like, oh, you know, that's just coming up. It's nothing for me to really tap into. It's nothing for me to like evaluate or investigate a little bit further. Hangman's telling us to kind of stop doubting yourself, stop hanging yourself upside down, stop resisting this your own magic, stop resisting your own magic essentially. And the High Priestess coming out as, what do we need to release? What do we need to let go? Maybe you need to let go of the aspects that are not allowing you to tap into the High Priestess a little bit more in depth. What does that mean? Well, what are you doing on a day-to-day basis that is a distraction from your own intuition? That's a distraction from your inner silence, which is, you know, a very pivotal part of this life. You need that to kind of tap in to your inner world of mysteries. What is interesting is that the Page of Wands may have us being super inquisitive, super creative, not creative, but super curious, super expansive in the sense that I need. I can visualize my greatness and my potential, and I just want to brush off into the world and kind of actualize that. And I'm going to absorb as much information as possible that's going to help me enhance that. But the thing about self-help books, the thing about self-help needs, the thing about wanting more information is that it's always, on the surface, it sounds great because it sounds like you're bettering yourself. You're tapping into this more expansive sense of being and wanting to enhance your education or your skill sets in any way. But another aspect of that could mean that you don't feel confident with what you already contain. So you're always needing more. And so I guess this is kind of also reiterating the fact what you need to release is this constant, I mean, or put it into balance at least, but also relinquish the need to always feel like you need more, or
Mm.
that you're lacking. Try to be extremely resourceful with your resources until you have milked every little drop. Do you really need to buy that lavish thing? Now, of course, you're deserving, and yes, we're getting a lot of Leo energy here, so I would say indulge, but also consider it a little bit before going out and just being like, whoo, you know, especially more so than the physical realm, more so than like buying material things. This can pertain to like spiritual interest, spiritual quests. Like maybe I need to double check with this person to see if I'm right about this. Or maybe
For
I,
sure.
you know, am too attached to my tarot, too attached to my astrology, too attached to, God knows, my I Ching, my rituals, you know?
Mm.
It is all kind of bringing it back to a sense of self. So at this time, what's going to help you shine is maintaining that confidence, maintaining that inner sense of trust and knowing, and that conviction that I know it all for myself, or I can trust myself to just pull out and roll with the punches and make the right decisions. And that sort of inner confidence and that sort of decisiveness is what's really going to make you illuminate like a regal entity. Or it's really going to
Mm.
capture other people's attention, because, you know, what makes someone very regal, what makes them, it's a hierarchy thing. So it's like, I don't need anything else. I am the everything else, you know? So
Yes.
that's what that's communicating, I feel.
Love it.
Now, in terms of what we can embrace further or embellish within ourselves at this time, Spirit, give us insight on this. As a collective, what can we be doing to glow up a little bit more? Or what aspects of ourselves should we focus on that is going to shine particularly at this time? Ah, okay. Oh, amazing. Boop. Knight of Cups. All right. So the Knight of Cups gives us a love influence, believe it or not. Um, Knight of Cups can represent people coming into our path with a pure intention to heal, or a motive to
Mm.
bring an emotional or a relationship or a romantic type of energy into our field. You might feel flirtatious. You might feel overtly sensual or sexual. You might feel like you want to sip on an extra cup of wine. You want to indulge in that. Really tap into your senses. And, you know, put some oil on, put some incense in your house, sage your house, wear nice
Mm.
clothing, go out on that date, or even have the guts to ask someone else on that date. The Knight of Cups can represent you putting your heart on your sleeve, wearing your heart on your sleeve, and feeling confident with that. Also, Knight of Cups can also represent you really indulging in the arts and creativity,
Mm.
expression, self-expression, dancing, singing, writing poetry, creating paintings,
Yes.
sculpting, well, maybe even ritual work. Absolutely. Just bear in mind it. Where is it coming from? Is it coming from a place where I feel like I'm lacking, or did I already
Mm.
want to enhance what I already have, bring it out to full effect type of situation?
Mm.
We're also getting the Knight of Pentacles. Make your money. Okay. Knight of Pentacles is slow and steady wins the race. That is his motto. But he is also about, or this character is about, kind of taking a very practical, sound approach to manifestation in the physical realm. So he has done his homework, or he has a systematic plan of, okay, you know, I want that car. This is what I need to do for the next 2 months to get that car. This would
Yes.
be a good time to kind of start putting that outward. It's saying that you might have a good business mindset or good financial mindset at this time that is going to be supporting whatever it is that you're going to want to attract into your life financially, abundant, with material wealth, particularly. Knight of Pentacles could be a move, possibly. It could be a solid move, travel, or Knight of Cups. Excuse me, Knight of Cups with the Knight of Pentacles. A romance that is blooming, but at a very gradual and comfortable pace. Last card is the Chariot. So, I mean, mind you, you wanna really indulge in these energies. You want to do anything to support this. You want to do one or the other, or all of the above. Chariot shows me that particularly during this time, these energies have no restrictions. They have no setbacks, no limitations. So there is no like off. ¿Cómo se dice? There's no when we're thinking about consequences, do it up. I don't see anything negative coming. I mean, as long as you're carrying that pure intention embodied with the Knight of Cups, because he is a very pure-hearted, very intuitive individual as well. So lead with your gut in terms of your manifestations as well. But yeah, you can't be stopped. And that can also be a very Leo card, very sunny, a very strong willpower, centered disposition. I'm going to get what I came to get. All roads are open. A very Papa Legba card, very Elegua card, very Eshu card. Bam. All things are possible with the Chariot because, well, one, it's a very celestial thing where it's lining up for this character. But two, more so, it is his mentality. I want it. I will get it. So we have such powerful cards. And I would say, yeah, really utilize this eclipse to be like, I'm on my throne. Yes. I'm on my chariot. Let's see what animal comes out for us as our oracle guidance of this astrological influence. Spirit, what animal wants to communicate with the collective at this time? For real? Okay. We will see. Our animal is the fox. Have you seen the fox lately? You've been getting the fox?
I always see the fox. Fox is a big messenger for me, and it's kind of like always with me. But it's interesting because it doesn't always. I'm interested to hear this reading of it.
I was surprised. I was kind of hoping for a mountain lion.
Of course.
We'll see. Wily fox has many allies in the woodlands, including the foliage, which offers protection and much medicine. Fox is seemingly able to vanish amidst the lush undergrowth of the forest. This flora is Fox's ally. The ability to melt into one's surroundings and be unnoticed is a powerful gift when one is observing the activity of others. Another natural gift of the fox is the ability to adapt to winter by changing color, like the chameleon. Its rich white winter coat allows fox to blend into the snow when the leaves no longer linger. Fox medicine involves adaptability, cunning, observation, integration, and swiftness of thought and action. These traits may include quick decisiveness and sure-footedness in the physical world. Fox's ability to be unseen allows it to be the protector of the family unit. If danger arises, Fox is Johnny on the spot. Nani Hueya, great spirit in the Choctaw tongue, honors Fox with the duty of keeping the family together and safe. This is accomplished through Fox's ability to observe undetected without making others self-conscious. Fox is always concerned with the safety of family members and is an excellent talisman for those traveling far afield. If Fox has chosen to share its medicine with you, it is a sign that you are to become like the wind, which is unseen, yet able to weave into and through any location or situation. You would be wise to observe the acts of others rather than their words at this time. Use your cunning nature in a positive way. Keep silent about who and what and why you are observing. Learn the art of camouflage. You need to test your abilities to pull this off. One test or exercise that may be helpful to you is deciding to be invisible. In doing this exercise, you might try to visualize your body as part of your surroundings, full of the colors of the locations you are in. See yourself in your mind's eye, moving with stealth and grace, unheeded by others. If you do it right, it works. You can leave a party unnoticed or become as unobtrusive as a piece of furniture watching the developing drama of the subjects you are studying. While learning from the fox, you might also gain confidence in your ability to know instantly what will happen next. After observing for a while, you will become aware of a certain predictability in given situations and be able to quickly make your move. Fox medicine teaches the art of oneness through its understanding of camouflage. This applies on all levels, from rocks to God. With fox medicine, you are being asked to see all types of uses for oneness. Much like the clowns at the rodeo, fox can keep the raging bull from stampeding a friend or a family member. Fox can use silly tactics as a brilliant camouflage move. No one can guess the sly power behind such ingenious maneuvers. And so it is. Bai Chitsung, just watch people. Because this eclipse has its effects for the next 6 months, right? And you were saying be cautious there.
It is true. That's true. I think it is a time. And also because when we're talking about an eclipse, one thing we're talking about is shadow, right? Because an eclipse, when we're dealing with an eclipse, a shadow is being cast. So there is a sense of revelation, of things being revealed, of behaviors being revealed, information, actions, and so sometimes that can sound scary, but really it's like, information rises to the surface for a reason. So if we are watching and if we are kind of in our shapeshifter mode, then we can see more, hear more, know more. So that makes a lot of sense. Thank you so much, Tatiana.
Anytime. Thank you.
It was beautiful. It was so beautiful. And I'm wishing, and we both are wishing all of you a really powerful, beautiful week, that you utilize these energies for the highest, for the highest good for yourself, for your family, your friends, your community, what you want to see manifest in the coming 6 months, the coming year. And if you want to stay in touch and see more, you can find me. You can follow me on Instagram, The Voluptuous Witch. My website is thevoluptuouswitch.com. And actually, if you want to go there and get on my email list, I'm going to send out eclipse horoscopes for the signs. So if that whole chart thing was like super confusing, or even if it wasn't, and you would just want to see your horoscope I would recommend knowing your rising sign. Because I think read your rising sign first, and then also your sun and your moon in the way that I write them. So it'll kind of give a horoscope for the eclipse energies. And so if you go to my website, you just fill in the little thing to get on my mailing list, you'll get those. And how can we find you, Tatiana?
You can find me on my website, myurbanillumination.com, or you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Tatiana Tarot, and that's Tatiana with 2 N's, for daily meditations, monthly tarot scopes, and a little insight on this moon juju. Yes, so follow us there, and we are sending you all of the love.
Yes.
For this week. Until next week, subscribe, like, share, comment, and let us know what's going on in your world and what's going to go on or what happened, because the eclipse is in the middle of the week, so you have time to write
down. Yes, absolutely.
I'm curious, So.
I'm curious too, and we will be back with you next week.
Yes, ciao.